the assassin, axe in my hand. Killed in 1913 in my Doug fir land. Posses kept coming 18 months or so. Didn't want to shoot 'em, but they wouldn't let me go. Leave me alone, leave me alone. Chatter with the squirrel and listen to the bird. And ponder the rainy night.
Ooh, I can't wait to tell you about John Torno.
Yeah, I know. That's how it works. Hi, I am Travis Nelson, and this is Fated Folklore, where, you've seen Drunken History.
Just gonna say it from the beginning.
Also, I will say this, they do not get inebriated enough. I don't think they take it seriously. I've watched a lot of episodes, and it seems like they're really pretending a lot, and they're being lightweights about it. But
you haven't seen the puking episodes.
no, I saw those, but I was like, I don't believe that wasn't a... I mean, I know they drank so much they barfed, but I'm like, these aren't real drinkers.
You know what I mean? These people weren't prepared for this. Me, I've been training for years. So
professional.
Oh,
I can't wait for what happens to you.
I'm about to be ridiculous, and I'm about to tell you guys the story of the wild man of the Wynoochee, John Torno. Which, the story from where I grew up, which is Grays Harbor, Washington. And, it's where Kurt Cobain... I'm from there. That was a tremendous sin. Kurt Cobain grew up there, so did I. I grew up where Kurt Cobain learned to smile. And now...
everybody's fine.
I'm going to tell you the story of the wild man of the Wynoochee. Ooh, before I do, though, I'm going to have you guys... Yeah.
Tell me.
By the way, this is Arlo Weierhauser and Chase Myers.
Where the fuck are you?
Who decided...
Where'd you come from?
I'm actually excited because Caitlin is from Southern Oregon, so she's from the area, essentially. And Chase...
will just be very fun to read this
I'm just excited to be here.
Yeah, Chase is...
I just got a lot of heart, and I'm happy.
The thing with Chase is he loves to learn.
Oh,
we know nothing about it.
I know so little, so...
I in the apartment.
Alright, before I read this, I'm actually going to have you guys watch this YouTube video, which I think will be a good prepper, which is the video that Erin Engel found and sent to me once I told
God bless her heart. Shout out. Erin Engel time.
And,
Cannot wait.
Okay, I know nothing of the story. Do you know anything of the story?
No, I'm just afraid I'm gonna know the guy.
Oh, okay.
I'm afraid this is gonna be a reveal.
Yeah, this is your uncle, by the way. That's why I'm
That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, and this is the music video I found. It'll give you like a
video.
It's a music video.
Yeah.
Wynoochee.
Wynoochee. This is
Hold
his
on,
story.
assassin, axe in my hand. Killed in 1913 in my Doug fir land. Posses kept coming 18 months or so. Didn't want to shoot, but they wouldn't let me go.
What am I looking at right now?
They called me crazy, shipped to Oregon, madhouse bars.
Oh, shit.
Reward was a fortune, dead or alive.
Man!
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone!
Leave me alone!
Leave me
I
alone!
tried to time it.
Dude, this guy killed
Yeah.
a lot.
Alright, so that's like a good, just like a little fun preface.
Hey, get
for
me
you.
in there, dude.
I think good's a strong word.
are you guys hooked? Are you interested?
Dude, let's go.
I'm on board because of your enthusiasm.
And if I'm not giving enough enthusiasm, that's on accident. I am so fucking pumped to do this in the story that we're reading.
I've been wanting to light stuff on fire.
Oh yeah? We can light some shit on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Later though, we're doing this now. Alright, so you're about to hear the story of Fated Folklore, Episode 1.
Hey.
Wild Man of the Wynoochee, John Torno. Wynoochee, baby. Alright, so...
Wynoochee, baby.
Alright, this is the story of the outlawed hermit of Grays Harbor County. The question is, was he a dangerous menace to society or an eccentric recluse? By the way, I already know, he was both. he was a big mix of the two, turns
I like
out.
that you didn't leave us guessing.
No. This is about education, not mystery. By the end of his little run, his little...
Crime spree?
Yeah, I would say his time as a fugitive from
Murder?
society. He got up to, they were offering $12,000 for his capture, which I think was about $300,000 like in today's cash.
That's like what, 1911? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay.
This
What
is early 1900s.
was his given name?
John Torno.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what was his nickname that you said?
They called him the Wild Man of the Wynoochee, and they also called him the Wild Man of the Oxbow.
Fuck yeah, Oxbow.
Yeah. So, his parents had a ranch. They called it the Torno Ranch. His parents were Frederick and Louise Torno, and they lived off of a branch of the Sapsup River. John was the fifth child born in 1879. On the official record, I think he was over 6 feet, 190 pounds, which was big for back
Man.
then. Yeah. But nowadays, if you read like the legend, like some, depending on where you read it, they'll say he's up to like.
Cheating everybody.
Hey, listen to the story. We're not listening to the story. All right. If you read like certain stories, they'll say he was like 6'6", like 300 pounds. They just like make him sound like a big monster.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think over 6 feet tall and 200 pounds was big back then.
Big enough.
Big
Also,
enough.
like wrestling stats, where it's like
Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
exactly.
He's 7'5", 500.
Yeah. You're like,
Yeah.
no, we get it. He's big, and that's impressive.
Yeah.
But also, they're like,
by the way, he killed 6 people, so he gained 6 inches for like every man he killed. He
I'm
gained
not gonna
it.
take it from him.
Yeah.
and
exactly.
his dick.
Insane.
All right, well, you're taking an unforeseen side in this fight.
I don't love it. I don't stand by it. I regret it immediately.
I called him a man earlier, so look, we're pro him.
Okay, so there's a lot of kind of like, a lot of people just make stuff up about his childhood. I'm not sure how much of it was true. When he was a kid, he got a bad fever, and it cooked his brains a little bit, so he was just a little off from everybody else. But he really loved animals and nature. He just couldn't really connect with people too well. All
I
right,
like critters.
critters. So he loved
Got
animals.
fever, now he likes critters.
And again, this is where the legend gets crazy. This is where the legend gets crazy, and they say that he would often be seen with like deer and just animals like around him, like he's a Disney princess.
What?
Yeah, that's all out there. I don't think any of that's really true. I think he had a dog that he loved, and he like would spend a lot of time in the woods, so he was around animals a lot. And which
If
is,
you feed deer enough, they
I
will
think
stay
you
around
do
you, though.
that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, deer.
I'm not saying that like wouldn't happen. I'm just saying like the way they portray him
The
is absurd.
extent of it.
Yeah, like they really make him sound mystical when I think he was just like a sweet kid. The official thing is that he spent a lot of time with his dad, and when his dad passed away, which was in 1909, so he was 10 years old, and when his dad passed away, apparently they were very close, and he kind of lost a little further and became a hermit. But the legend says what happened was his dad, he were very close, but he also had this dog that he loved, and his dad passed away, and when his dad passed away, his brother killed his dog. And that drove
What?
him. Yeah, that's the legend. Is that drove him away from people, like in general. Like he just kind of went into the woods for a long time by
He's John
himself.
Wick.
He's a little bit of a Pacific North John Wick, and I'm laughing that you brought that up because Kaylin brought that up earlier today.
Oh, really?
We had a whole conversation about John Wick.
Yeah, but here he is again, John Wick.
You
Everybody.
can,
Fuck with my dog and I'll kill
you can
you.
apply him to so many situations.
Yeah,
So.
this is the story of John Wick. Yeah, it's the real story.
Turns out John Wick's a reboot.
Yeah, I mean, I just realized that now, but that's the direction we're headed in.
This is so exciting.
A lot of headshots. Honestly, in this
The
story,
Wild Wick of the Wynoochee.
Get the
Just
fuck
wanted to get
out of
that in
here.
there. Just wanted to get it on the record real quick. The Wild
Wick.
of the Wynoochee. Okay.
yeah. Have your drink, you piece of shit.
You said rip. You said 5 minutes. As much as you want.
Look, after his father died, one way or the other. I mean, either the more dramatic path happened, or just what I said earlier. And he went into the woods, and he just lived on his own, kind of in the woods for a while. Would come back every once in a while for food, but
In Washington.
in Washington, yeah, in Grays Harbor County, and he was just absurdly good with a gun. Like he could just shoot anything, and he just was able to take care of himself out on his own. And he preferred not to be around people for whatever reason.
Okay. What's his age right here? What is it?
At this point, he's like 10 and 12.
Okay.
That is nuts.
Yeah, no, people were different back then. Whatever happened, he went into the woods, and then his family, really his brothers, decided it was time to take care of it because people started to talk because, you know, loggers would be out in the woods working, and he would just pop up out of nowhere, like covered in brush and shit. They're like, "What the
feral child?"
Yeah, like what is this? And so they got him, and they sent him away to the Mountain View Sanatorium in Portland.
Oh no.
Yeah, which. By the way, a little backstory. Rip City, baby.
Stumptown, baby.
So a little history on Oregon's psychiatric hospitals, which is really fun.
Not good.
I feel it's important to point out because his little stint in this institution really, I felt, shaped the rest of his life, and it gets blown past like no one cares. In 1843, so this happened in essentially 1900. In 1843, a guy named James Hawthorne, he opens the Oregon Hospital for the Insane, which was the first hospital in Oregon Territory. Which is very interesting because you'd think there would be a regular medical hospital before one for the insane.
Nah.
But then again, you had to have somewhere to send the people you needed to get rid of.
That trail fucked up a lot of folk.
Uh-huh. And...
Where was it?
What's that?
Where was it?
Where was the...
First one.
Oh, the first one was in Portland. Yeah. Because they were
really?
Portland was the big spot, so that's where the first one was.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where they all were after that, I think. The Mountain View Sanatorium in Portland,
where he went to.
It opened in 1908 and closed in 1920. By the way, before that, all the mental...
It was like one class? It's our class 3.
Yeah, all the mental institutions from that beginning, I forgot to say... they just murdered people. Like, there was mass graves found of them just...
Yeah, you forgot to say that.
Yeah, no, they would sterilize people, and they would murder them, and there was crazy kind of stuff happening. And because
they were just crazy, who gave a fuck?
Yeah, the basic story is this guy took over, and then people started finding mass graves and being like, oh yeah, what happened to that guy? Because there was no records
and
being
they're like,
taken.
he had obsessive compulsive disorder. We had to kill him.
Yeah, like, what are you going to do with him? And it's
bananas.
Yeah, so that's why I bring this up, because you don't know what happened to this dude while he was in that mental institution. But what we do know is his brother Ed, who was one of the guys who put him in there, went down to visit him.
Was he the dog murderer?
I mean, but from the folklore, yes.
We don't. It might have been. Yeah.
I mean, if you believe, I think that it's a lot.
Sure, and it might have been another brother. He's one of 5, right?
Might have been, yeah. So this guy, who I don't think is the one who killed the dog because he was friendly enough to go visit him, and he was the only one who did. He went there, and they were kind of like, look, he's not doing well. Kind of seems like his big thing is being outside, and he's in solitary right now, and he's not handling it well. So maybe you take him outside, kind of get him out into the forest.
Walk
and get
him.
Yeah, get him some air. No, they were like, get him out.
Walk him.
And so his brother took him to some hot springs near the Columbia River.
Dope. Was it Bisbee?
It might have been, yeah. I mean, it probably wasn't called Bisbee back then.
Yeah.
Super gay. Very good spot.
But there you go. You've heard it. But, yeah, that was a bad idea because, I mean, this is John Torno. This dude is John Wick. He is, I mean, you brought it up.
We don't know right. Like, he hasn't done like a full murder yet.
No, but he's badass.
He's just been feral.
Like, he just juked his brother and got off in the woods and just like, he was gone. Like, he was...
Like you said juked.
Yeah, no, he broke his ankles and he got him to the woods.
Damn!
Yeah.
Good goddamn.
Yeah, he had Jordans on and he shook him. And,
squeaked him.
And, so here's the crazy thing. He appeared in Sapsup County, which is where Olympia is.
Okay.
He appeared there, like, a couple days later just getting groceries.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
So he moved on quick.
That's this dude. That's this dude.
Out.
He broke the ankles, got into the woods. What is that? Like 200 miles, 250 miles in a couple of days, and just popped into the grocery store like,
yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
Give me the honey crisp.
Anyways.
I've earned them.
Y'all have baby carrots?
And so he just showed back up, which, by the way, if you're his family, is horrifying. because you put him away in the first
Yeah.
place. And by the way, they used his own money, which he had money because he worked and he trapped and he worked for like logging companies and stuff because he was just a great outdoorsman. So they took his money out of his bank account to pay for putting him in the mental institution.
Like,
So he got back and he was like, "Where's my money?" And they're like, "Well, we spent it on you being crazy. So good to
And then
see
you
you."
went all crazy and came back here. So
No one saw this coming.
yeah, I don't.
We don't know what we're gonna do.
We thought the crazy place could take care of you, but it turns out
All he wanted was one Pepsi.
he just wanted a Pepsi.
Which, by the way,
That's all he wanted.
the first time I watched One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest,
Ooh-wee.
Chief throws the water fountain through the thing and gets out. I thought of this story, and I was like, "You go, John Torno.
You fucking fuck it up.
You earned your freedom."
Fuck it up.
Yeah, so he just popped up, just like showed up, and then I think that's when everyone was like, "Oh man, this guy, we probably just should leave him alone."
Does he just run everything now? I
Yeah,
think
because he just showed up, and by the way, he swore vengeance on his brothers. He said, "I swear vengeance on you guys
Ooh-wee.
because you took my money and put me in the sanatorium without even talking to me about
So
it."
where's my dog?
Yeah, I mean, his dog killed by his brother, or was he? We don't know.
First of all, how does somebody know at the grocery store that he's on the lam? You know what I mean? Like, this took some doing to, like, transmit the message that, like, he's out. First of all, who the fuck is he? And now, like, he's on the lam and transmit back his, like, location. Like, they were alerted. He's big enough of a deal, you know what I mean? To, like, have letters
eyes out
sent.
on him.
Yeah.
Eyes are out on
But
him.
if you think
Yeah.
about it, he definitely showed up just like wearing bark with like a crazy beard and like wild
Okay,
hair.
that would do it more. Yeah. No,
And he
I
was
hear
like,
you.
"I need ham." And they're like, "All right, someone should know about this."
We should tell somebody.
Yeah, I don't know if they necessarily said his name. They probably just described that and they're like, "That's him."
Yeah, that's gotta be. That's the only dude
Like,
we
I saw
know.
this fucking guy. He,
Yeah.
like, he had a bear like just on him. I don't know.
It wasn't even dead.
He's just wearing a bear.
Ridiculous.
So,
He did have Jordans on though.
swore vengeance. And then he just kind of lived in the woods for 18 months straight. And during this time, there's all kinds of crazy, like,
Wood stuff.
stories of like, you know, like lumberjacks. He would just pop out of the woods and be like, "Bah, bah, 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 bah." They're like, "Ah, what the fuck are you?" And like he just pulled like, he would jump out and confront people who like walked into his territory
Damn.
and just have a gun and like wouldn't
He was
lower
a
it
real person.
until like
Yeah.
like there was a couple of like county officers and they had to show him their papers before he like put his gun down. And he's like, "All right, I guess you guys are supposed to be here," and like let him move. But he was definitely just like starting to get
Territorial aggressiveness.
yes. You know, and it is completely understandable given like what his life was up to that point for him just to, I mean, because this wasn't
Carve
like
a place for himself.
yeah,
out in the woods
just,
and be
just
like,
go in the
"This is
woods
mine."
where no one can hurt you, and when anyone comes in, he just gets terrified.
Are we going to talk about the fact that he definitely, probably got electroshock therapy at
Yeah.
the sanatorium?
No, I mean, that's probably the least of what happened to him.
Absolutely.
There. Yeah. So that's what makes this hard for me because I'm like, I mean, it sucks because
A
what
lot of
happens.
bad stuff happened.
What happens next, I feel like, kind of is completely on him, but at the same time, you're like, but this wasn't
Is
someone.
anything ever on him now? Like,
Yeah.
Come
This dude
Porno
shouldn't.
sympathizer?
He shouldn't have
Are you
been here. Are you kidding me? I'm a big time
Weird.
sympathizer.
You're you.
I'm playing I'm learning the story as it goes. So
Yeah?
I'm playing as it comes.
I'm gonna get some more alcohol.
Yeah, you're
I'm gonna
supposed
be-
to.
A bunch of fur trappers said he burned down their cabin, but
Damn.
you know,
That's fur. You can't trust a fur trapper.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. I don't because you know what? They
So-
were probably French, and I'll say it right now. I don't trust the
Hey,
French.
you watch it. No, hold on.
That's right, Chase.
I
I'm coming
gotta,
at
I
you.
gotta take a step back.
Chase is French, and that's why it's funny.
They are known for one thing. Not really, you know, they were there doing it. Also, loggers talk.
Oh, you know what? When I was a kid, my dad worked at a sawmill, and I went in there. I was like very impressionable, obviously, and I love like supernatural stuff. And like 4 of his friends had like legit Sasquatch stories, and
Hell
they all
yeah.
told me,
I know
and it
'em.
freaked me out. So I went to the library and checked out a bunch of books on Sasquatch. which when I read had their stories in them
Yeah.
because they were the guys who told the stories in the first place. And so I just grew up being like, yeah, Sasquatch
This
is
is
real.
real.
Yeah.
1,000% real.
Yeah.
Also,
So
the
wait,
fact-
you're saying you heard it from the source? Is that what you're saying? Like,
Yeah, well, basically these
It's very
guys,
Fox News situation too.
They
because
just
people
tell
that
stories.
said
They-
were the ones that got published, published.
Yeah,
and then that's
what they
what they
cited
reference
forever, yeah.
forever for the argument.
they just
It is a Fox News.
they just
cycle
had
of
fun telling me
dipshittery.
whatever stories because they were, they worked in a sawmill. What are they going to talk about? Like, I want to make some shit up about I saw Sasquatch one time. You know what I mean? Like, it made sense to me. But
Also, the fact that he confronted sheriffs and like big dick sheriffs, because sheriffs could be like, "Fuck you," to jail or just shoot you dead.
But the thing is, now with this guy, like,
Yeah.
everyone kind of knew who this guy... The weird thing is, everyone knew who this guy was. Like, word was out after he escaped the sanatorium, where everyone was just
It's
kind of like,
exciting.
he's just out there. Like, he's around here somewhere. We don't know where he is, and he keeps popping up. Like, and they knew he was a badass with a gun, because that's the only way you survive out in the wilderness like that. So everyone was a little worried about this guy, because no one knew what he was up to. He's probably just minding his own goddamn business, just doing his own thing, but it freaked everybody out. Leave me alone. Some, talk with the squirrel.
There were a lot of newspaper headlines that we could not read because they went too fast, but
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of hype around him.
Yeah. So, and it was like all into politics too. Like, it came into politics where politicians were like, "Oh, I'll take him down."
I'll take the man of Wynoochee.
Yeah. And other guys were like, "I think he just needs help." And like the guy who was
Bless their
like,
hearts. Fuck these liberals.
"Yeah, guess who do you think won? Guess who do you think won the election?"
I know.
I know.
Yeah, it was the guy who said, "Go kill him."
I'm a murderer.
But anyways,
I know what country we're in.
the only human contact he really had was his sister,
Good moral man.
Mrs. Henry Bauer, who she would give him food, but he was never. It's not like he was like loyal to her. Like, he would go steal her like chickens and vegetables and stuff from her.
And then she just felt bad, kind of.
Yeah, I think she was his sister, and she saw that he was treated poorly as a child, and like saw how he got put in a mental institution when he really didn't need to be, and she felt for him a little bit. That's how I feel. I think that was his sister, and I think she was just a sweetheart.
That's nice.
Yeah, so that is kind of the nice thing about the story. It was like she realized her brother wasn't the dude everyone was saying he was, and that he needed help. So after he challenged 2 county cruisers at gunpoint,
What's cruisers?
that was the guys who went around the territory and just kind of like, I think,
Fucking nerds and
the
snitches.
cops pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they just rolled into his territory, and he was like, "Why don't you guys hold the fuck
Pigs.
on?" Yeah, I mean, I'm so happy with you guys saying that, because I personally, fuck these guys. I don't know what they were.
Hey, cab!
Yeah.
No time, no sloppy.
Fuck the
pig.
police.
Yeah, like,
Oh, quads.
There was this guy, Sheriff Edward Payette, and he was like the sheriff around the county, who I actually think was a good dude, because when this started happening,
This is a twist.
No. This sheriff, I mean, like, this was back in the day. Sheriffs could be anybody, and this
is
buddy,
true. That
this
is
was a
true.
good dude. Because when this all was going down, he said, "Look, this guy just needs to be left alone. People need to leave him alone, and just let him do his
Just
own
let him
thing."
have a tree fort.
and
Yeah.
then he played his favorite song.
Leave him alone. Leave me alone.
No, he. By the way, at this, if you go into I've kind of drifted away from the legend, but if you go into the legend, like, people are finding him with like buckets of frogs, just eating them, and like,
Is that the front?
Good God.
yeah, just doing crazy stuff. Like,
Oh,
stuff
it's
like that.
referential. It wasn't just like wildlife. This is fun. I like that more.
Uh-huh.
That it's like, no. He was just into
Yeah.
eating them.
No, he was a carnivore.
Can't survive.
For sure.
Can't
He was chomping frogs. I mean, even if they didn't find him doing that, I 100% assume he was doing that.
Dude,
This is not,
Fucking, they're fat and easy to catch.
18
Yeah.
months in the woods, dude.
Look, he knew how to survive, and I respect that, and I don't take any of his frog eating away from him.
Sorry, quick aside. What's the book that we all had to read in like junior high or elementary school, where like the little guy, like the boy gets put out in the woods, and he has to like figure out his own way. It's not like
Hatchet?
White Fang is. Hatchet is a good one. There's like 3 of them that are all in the
My
series.
Side of the Mountain.
That one.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh-wee.
You think I hadn't read all those books?
No, I know. I did too. I did too.
That's how I grew up. I was like, oh, this is real life. You gotta find a hollowed out tree and you live in there
It's a
and you
huge-
survive off animals.
Huge reason that me and my brother both tried to run away from home a dozen times, but we also tried to take a wolf and a horse with us when we went.
Yeah, so the sheriff, Edward Payette, said, he's fine. Whatever. Leave the guy alone. He's got some issues, but he's all fine on his own. He's not bothering anybody unless anyone bothers him. And then something crazy happened. So,
I was waiting for something.
yeah, so his sister...
When does this get crazy?
His sister,
The
Mrs. Bauer...
Yeah.
She had 2 twin sons. They were 19-year-olds. They were twins.
Oh, okay, yeah, I saw some. There's a twin
We see
situation
them.
in that video.
So this is where this happens.
Okay.
Yeah, here we go. So
You know.
3 p.m. they left on a Sunday, and they didn't come home, and the family heard a lot of shots going off at one point, and then they never came home, and then by Monday, the mom started to panic. And
Sure.
So she started reaching out to everybody and being like, we need to get a search party out. I haven't seen my boys. I don't know what happened.
The boys are missing.
Yeah, so then, by the way, they left. One boy was carrying a shotgun, and another one was carrying a 30-30. And
What's
what
the
happened was
30-30?
30-30 is a rifle.
Okay.
It's just like a hunting rifle.
Yeah.
And the local government sent this guy named Sheriff Colin McKenzie, who was kind of a badass, and they sent him out like, you got to
Find your boys.
you got to give this dude credit. What they did, they searched for 3 days, and they found a trail of blood, which they followed, which led to a wounded bear, which they put out of its misery because it had obviously been shot.
Oh God.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
still alive. Oh,
This
that's
is
sad.
1900. This is the happiest
Still
part about
sad.
the story. Yeah. So the guys next near to the bear was kind of like this like rickshaw cabin that had been put together.
Sure.
Yeah, guess who did that? John Torno, obviously. That's what that dude did. He lived in the woods and he had a bunch of different like cabins around that he had built himself. The wounded bear had crawled near his cabin and died. And they saw that and then they thought, okay, so his nephew shot this bear and then they ran to his their uncle's cabin and they decided to go for like a little hunting trip. So they started looking around for him and then I think it took another day. Yeah, and then they found the bodies of like the boys' dogs nearby.
The dogs?
Yeah, it's a John Wick story. And so then they started like looking around. They
There's
found
so
some
many
like
different John Wicks.
I know.
there was loose dirt, and
Quit murdering dogs.
they started looking up the loose dirt, and
What'd they find?
well, guess what they found? They found the body of those twins.
Oh, no.
One was buried 20 feet away from the other one, and they had both just been shot like through the face with a 30-30.
Damn.
His own gun? He shot him with his own gun?
Yeah, no,
Through
well,
the face.
I mean, I'm assuming that John Torno also had a 30-30 because he murdered a lot of people with a 30-30.
Or he just took.
I'm prefacing a lot, but he murdered a lot of people with a 30-30.
Or he took the
You know what?
gun.
I don't like that guy anymore.
Yeah, no,
Oh, you're not that dude's
We're off.
fan?
Yeah,
Chase, I had you strongly on the side
He
of John
shot
Torno.
them in
I
the
was-
face.
I try to give everybody like an open, like a shot, but
By the way, right here, you guys are turning away from him. I'm leaning into this guy.
I'm thinking I'm back.
I believe in this guy. No. You don't know what I have coming.
I don't.
You don't know what I have next.
I'm gonna go sleep somewhere else though.
No, you get to be here and enjoy my passion on the subject, Caitlin.
He
So-
killed his little nephew.
But here's what you don't know. So
You tell me what I don't.
So here's a couple of different theories.
That's the one we need.
Theories. So what a lot of people think is his nephews were tracking a bear, which got close to his cabin, and they shot at the bear, and he just popped out of his cabin and like bat killed them both, and got over there and was like, oh.
And there's also a bear.
Shit.
Surprise.
Because he thought people were
surprise.
coming for him, and he just panicked. And
like
so
he didn't know it was his nephew.
yeah, so
like
that's
he never met them or nothing, or even knew them or nothing. Why were they even hunting in his neck of the woods though? That's too suspicious.
okay. Hold on, because I got different theories.
Thank you.
So that's the most popular one.
Ken's gonna need a second one.
Is this theory where his nephews
No.
were innocent and he didn't mean to, and it was a whoopsie daisy, essentially.
You don't oopsie doodle kill
No.
two ass.
I didn't say oopsie doodle. Whoopsie daisy. Actually,
No, define the difference.
whoopsie daisy.
Okay, we're good.
Whoopsie daisy. You can kill a couple nephews. It turns out.
Nope.
Yeah. I mean, not legally. That's a whoopsie daisy. There's a lot of people in federal
Not
prison.
legally. Yeah.
There's a lot
By the
of.
legal
You do
definition.
20 in the pen.
By the legal definition of
Whoopsie
whoopsie
daisy.
daisy.
There are a lot of people in federal prison for whoopsie daisies.
That's a very common conversation that
Yeah.
happens in the pen. What you in for? Oopsie
Oh,
daisy.
whoopsie daisy.
Yeah.
But no oopsie doodles.
No. If you said whoopsie doodle, I'm sorry. You're owned by someone else in
It's
prison.
oopsie doodle.
It's-
First of all.
Yeah. Oopsie doodle.
Yeah, it's oopsie
Man.
doodle.
Okay.
No, you gotta.
No.
No, this is that's traffic court.
Yeah. That's no good.
You gotta take
In
a
the
class.
pen.
You're fine. You just take
Yeah.
a class. We'll get it off your records
It's
soon.
different than the pen.
Oopsie doodle.
Those are whoopsie daisies.
Whoops. And
I killed-
whoopsie daisies is murder. That's what it is.
Yeah, whoopsie daisy. I killed 2 of my nephews because they were shooting a bear.
That's not the one that you believe in. That's not the one you like.
No, that's my guy.
With such conviction.
Oh.
No, you hold on with this. I will win you over. I won't. I was raised with this, and I believe he was not in the wrong.
To kill
You
his
said he's a murderer. So
No,
many times.
he murdered a lot of people. But
So he's not right.
well, he was always okay. Arguably, he was always in defense. So this first time,
Yeah, so was every criminal I've ever met.
but they started it. This dude was in his cabin, and people started shooting at him.
Sure.
Yeah, this
know
was
what
back in 1900, like
I know what
early.
you told me. That's all I know.
This is before 1910. I
What
no,
do
this is
you
just
think
after
happened in the
1910.
woods with his nephews?
Okay, here's the other.
What do
theories.
you really think happened?
Here's the other theories.
Whoopsie daisy. That's what you think.
You say it to me one more time.
Other theories that have been had was one story is like one guy's story was he saw what happened and John Torno had like shot one of his sister's cows and was like dressing it in the field. And,
Rude.
Yeah, and his nephews
rude.
came up and saw that and thought he
And
was
we're
a,
like, what the fuck?
they thought he was a bear.
Wait,
Yeah,
no.
yeah,
No.
and shot at him.
You don't believe that though.
And then he shot both of them.
That ain't it.
Yeah. No, that's the legend. I'm just filling you in on the different.
Sure. No,
so
I
that's a
love this.
legend.
I like these theories.
Yeah.
This is how we got flat earthers.
Well, I
We
mean,
just entertain shit.
this is
Real.
faded folklore. We don't take anything seriously.
Hit it.
Yeah. So what I kind of believe is his nephews were very aware that their crazy goddamn uncle was swinging around and stealing livestock now and then.
And was kind of adjacent.
And stealing their
to their
food.
territory,
And,
yeah.
and he wasn't, like, they didn't know who he was. He was just doing that. And he's a scary dude. In, like, the early 1900s,
Fully.
this dude lived in the woods and probably ate frogs. So he just jumped
Yeah,
out and,
ate
like,
frogs.
he's not, he's not like a fun uncle you get to hang out with. So I'm sure if they saw him, I'm not sure they would hesitate to shoot at him. I'm sure they would be happy to be rid of him.
They maybe have been the aggressors then?
I don't want to turn. I mean, I don't believe they weren't. I don't believe they accidentally shot at a bear story, which maybe that's true.
Yeah, that I don't know. That doesn't track. And
Thank you. And that's the official story, which I don't believe. I kind of think that his nephews wanted him gone because they
but
were.
no one's entertaining the theory that he fucking full blown snapped and killed his little nephews.
Oh, that's a good point too. But that kind of goes against all of the previous experiences with him, where he didn't
Except
attack.
for
He
what
didn't
happened
attack
after.
anyone in the woods. He
Except
didn't.
for he got crazy aggressive.
This guy never shot at anyone who didn't shoot at him first.
Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a cool point to know.
Yeah.
That's cool to know.
He never shot at anybody. He never was really a problem until that point. where that's
Who
why
shot at him though?
that's what they think. They think the
The
nephew.
boys.
They think they were shooting at the bear.
So-
he thought they were shooting at him, and he
He
shot
was like,
them.
"You gotta die, motherfucker."
So all
Yeah.
the like reward stuff on him wasn't until this. This is what made him
Got him.
like people out to get him.
Sheriff Payette, who I was talking about, sent Colin
It's a good
McKenzie
one, right?
with a posse.
good one.
Colin McKenzie was like the badass dude.
Okay.
Sheriff Payette was the good dude, but now he's like, all right, this guy's murdered 2 people. This needs to kind of be handled because people are freaking out about it. And as you saw in the
Payette's the
video,
one that was like, leave him alone.
yeah, he was like,
Okay.
leave him alone, and then people
Advocate.
weren't leaving him alone. So it was like, all right, now this is a
Right.
problem.
Now some nephews died.
Yep, people have died.
Ah, this is a twist on the campaign though.
So he sent Colin McKenzie with a posse to find the guy, and he was like, "You guys got to put a bounty ad on him. We got to get this guy fast because this is getting out of hand."
Yeah.
Because he realized this guy's out in the woods, and no one can beat him in the woods. Like that's where he
It's
lives.
his territory. It's like Ewoks, dude. It's Ewoks. You cannot beat Ewoks in the wood. That is their home, their territory.
100%
I'm saying.
Ewoks,
I
right?
get it. That's totally good.
But county commissioners were only willing to offer $600. That's like all they would offer. By the end of this, it was $12,000. So at first they were like, just $600. We'll get this guy.
So you can pay rent.
And then there was all these weird stories of people, because now he was in the news, so people started reporting seeing him everywhere. And a lot of it, no one knows if it was true, but if it was,
That's the thing.
this guy was moving like 30, 40 miles a night, just like popping in different places and doing crazy
But that's
stuff.
not
Like
reasonable.
he was like burning down people's shacks and like waking up loggers and being like, I need salt and pepper. Like that was a big thing. He wanted salt and pepper for his food. Yeah, he likes seasoning.
Also, just to say, just as a really quick breakdown, it's not unreasonable to travel a certain amount of mileage a day, right?
Right.
35, 30, even close to 30 overnight, literally fucking impossible.
Right.
Yeah,
So
it's
there's-
more than a marathon.
This is now getting into that like realm of like, oh,
Folklore.
exactly like
Legend.
the stories start, and oh, I seen him too. I seen him too. I seen
Yeah.
him too. Yeah.
So that's where it starts to spread like that, and it spreads like wildfire. And that's when I was saying it started affecting local elections, because certain guys were just running like, "Hey, I'm going to take
They were
this guy
using
out."
him as political.
Yeah, they're like,
fodder.
I'm gonna kill this guy, and we're all gonna be safe. And people were voting for those people. He started robbing like local stores and stuff. He would just go in and be like, I need all this stuff, and I'm that dude, and they would just give it to him.
Like,
Which is-
we thought it was you actually.
Yeah.
As a
Right.
petty criminal, that is a heyday.
Yeah.
To be
So-
like, oh, shit, I was gonna say. I'm that
Apparently,
guy.
I mean, this is legend, but he had like $15,000 in like a safe case, and he buried it by a fish-shaped rock somewhere, and that's out there somewhere. It's kind of like a it's kind of like a DB Cooper
Yeah.
type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goonies, baby.
And
Goonies.
no one ever found it.
Yes.
Then Sheriff Payette sent the deputies Colin McKenzie, who was the badass, and this dude A.V. Elmer.
Nice to meet you, Avi.
Yeah, A.V. Elmer. And the thing with A.V. Elmer
A-Cat.
was he could not shoot very well.
Okay.
He couldn't see very well, but
Who the fuck let him on the force?
yeah, no, he was like he was a firefighter, and he was like a badass, and then he got hurt firefighting, so
And
then
they're
he
like,
became
let's make you
a photographer, and then
TV
for
cop.
some reason they were like, now you go from photographer to
cop.
like deputy, and then he
Oh,
caught
good
some
Lord.
badass up in like Vancouver, BC, and drug him back down, so he was a big deal. And so they put him on it because apparently he was like a crack woodsman, and
Crack woodsman is a very specific set of skills.
yeah,
Everything that you just told me about this guy does not lend to.
that's what's interesting is he
Yeah,
apparently
sure.
was all that and a crack
He
woodsman.
can't,
Like
he can't see.
yeah, but he was.
Can't butt, can't rap, can't wrestle. The fuck you good for?
No, but apparently, I mean, the hunting people down was like his specialty. I'm sure he had to have like
Yeah, with his blind ass not shooting ass.
he had to
yeah,
have
I'm sure
like
he's
a seeing
amazing.
eye dog to help him. But I think that's what
Oh, that's good. That's
they
good.
hired him, and at that point they raised the bounty to $4,000, and one of the commissioners added $1,000 to it, so he's at $5,000 now, and that's when Giles Quinby kind of comes into the mix. So Giles Quinby is this war hero from the Spanish-American War. He's just a bad...
What?
Yeah, he's a bad motherfucker, and they get him in there,
Who is she?
and they're like, we need you to help us out and find this guy. So he, throws these posses out there, and then Colin McKenzie and A.V. Helmer, by the way, at some point, they go out on their own to try and find him, and there's a whole thing where they, kind of find him, and then he just murders them both, just like a shot through the face each.
What?
Yeah, they were done. Those two were done. And
Okay, not to point out the absolute obvious, but both them nephews got shot through the face for murder.
Yeah.
He has a definite style.
Yeah, no, he shoots through the face. He's very John Wick. It's just through the face with this dude. 30-30 through the face. That's the one weird thing that's
Cop killer,
consistently
cop killer.
accurate
Yeah,
through
yeah.
all these stories is he's just shooting everyone through the face. And
This is wild.
That's one
Yeah.
way to do it.
yeah, and so
Do
then
it. We'll get done.
Colin McKenzie and A.V. Elmer murdered. And
Yeah.
they're found in shallow graves, right?
Ooh!
Yeah. He killed them both.
Not just laying dead where they lie.
Nope,
But he buried them.
Yep. So they found one of his cabins, and they looked around, and they found those two. Yeah, they were buried, and
And you still think that he didn't murder them nephews? Right next to his little enclosure,
dude.
right next to Shallow Massacre. I'm just saying.
I think he was startled by them, and it set off a chain of events.
You don't think he was just bad?
I mean, that's not a bad person. That's a mentally unsound person. You know what I mean?
He might still be bad though.
What's bad mean?
Murdering.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
30-30.
You guys are poking holes in my love of this dude.
Oh, shoot
I
people
mean-
in the
Because I don't
face.
think he's right at this point. I think he's a murderer at this point.
Because he
I
killed
think-
a cop.
I think no. I mean, I think he was when he killed his nephews.
Yeah.
But part of me is also just kind of there's a tragedy about this guy who was misunderstood. He was put in a
Sure, but there's a
situation.
far reach from murder and feeling bad.
Well, not when someone's shooting at you. When this dude's felt pursued his entire life, and then people start shooting at him, and the one thing he's able to do is just shoot motherfuckers
You
in
really
the
think
face.
that bear was in between? Yeah.
Yeah.
So he
So
murders these two nerds. Go on.
murders the nerds. You're right. So murders them, and
What are
then
we talking about here? Keep it moving.
by now politicians are getting elected who are actively just getting elected on we're gonna find this guy, we're gonna catch him. So the bounty's up to
This
$12,000.
is exhilarating.
Yeah.
All right.
Everyone
On
is
his own.
looking for him. But this Giles Quinby guy,
Okay.
he's
The war
after
hero.
him. And he's after him with a couple dudes, I forgot their names, and they'll die in obscurity. But these two guys are with him, and they have both been hunting him for a while. So they get up close, and they see some smoke, and they get up, and there's kind of a cabin, and they realize it's his. And Giles Quinby knows to kind of drop behind, but these other two guys were like, no, we're gonna fucking get this
Going
guy.
blazing? What is your plan?
They were just like, we're so,
here, we're doing it.
so done with this guy. We are getting him. And they thought they had the element of surprise,
No.
so they snuck up. They thought they were sneaking up on the cabin,
In the face.
but guess what?
Face shot.
Guess what? One of them, face shot. Just one dude face shot, other
He
dude,
has one move.
yeah, other dude shot in the gut, and then he got up on him and shot him in the
And try
face.
facing it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
If you come for the king, you better not miss.
Yeah. Exactly. So then Giles Quinby's hiding behind, and if you listen to the legend is he's yelling at him, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm not trying to kill you. You just gotta stop or whatever." And then
You won't listen. You keep shooting them in the face
Yeah.
when they try to tell you.
Please
to
stop.
yeah, and apparently what he yelled back was
I got a chicken hookup, dude. We can eat chicken for the rest of our
Please
lives.
stop murdering.
Just stop murdering the people. We're all scared.
Fran. What'd he say?
apparently. If you listen to the legend, what he said back was, "This is where that fish-shaped rock is that I buried all the money. Please let me go."
So that's the most fucking fabricated ass shit ever.
Yeah.
And then.
Maybe he was just. I mean, maybe there never was anything buried there.
But
It was
definitely-
he just told them so they fucking go
Fish
away.
shaped
Like,
rock.
go live by the fish-shaped rock, and they're like,
Yeah.
all right, I'll go. You know.
But what definitely happened was he
15
peeked out from where he was hiding, and Giles Quinby was an American war hero, and he just popped him one, and then
Sharpshooter.
he wasn't sure he got him, but he like waited for like 30 minutes, nothing happened, so he snuck out and he kind of checked everything out, and like his buddies were dead.
Sniped him, yeah.
But yeah, he fucking caught him one, and the dude was dead.
Terrifying too.
And so they took him, they carried the body to Montesano, which those pictures you guys saw of him, was him just dead.
Oh,
that's what I said.
okay.
Yeah.
Thought I saw it was a dead
Seemed like
man.
a dead guy.
It did. It seemed
Yeah,
like a creepy.
They showed it there for a while.
Is that still in Washington?
His
Then?
face was gone.
Montesano, yes.
Yeah.
That's near where I lived. And they apparently pulled him into Montesano
Cobain.
and charged him 25 cents a picture to like, they had pictures of him.
Cool.
And people were like trying to tear him apart and shit because people used to do that.
Yeah.
Where they're like, I want this bit of the famous dude.
Mementos, absolutely.
Yeah.
Of like him? Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not bad, guys.
Yeah.
I know too much.
Sorry, we're from this area.
Yeah.
You're not from. We rip dead people here. We
Okay.
tear them apart.
Yeah.
Little
You'll have a
souvenirs.
nice church thing. We tried
Yeah.
to take them.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Then he was buried next to his parents and his dead nephews he shot.
Damn.
And
They gotta be
still
pissed.
married.
They gotta be
married in
pissed.
there, yeah.
yeah. And
The family took
We
him back
bought-
into the family plot.
We bought
which is
the lot,
wild.
so we got.
The fact they put him in the family plot, though.
yeah. Well, where else are you gonna put him? I guess.
I don't know who's still alive.
Anywhere
at
else
this
you
point.
shot the fucking nephew?
Who's still?
Who
I
killed
love. You grew up with these stories
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
as a team.
Yeah, that was crazy, man.
Right. Wild man of the Wynoochee. He was out there. He's probably just, a dude. He was a little bit crazy, and people couldn't handle that he was
Lives
out
in
there.
the woods, dude's all you gotta say. He
Yeah,
lives in the
you're
woods.
right. Eats frogs. Spooks people. I get it. He's.
I will say, like, I never really knew the story ever. Like, I never really heard this whole story. But I will say, like, growing up where I grew up, which was, by the way, Douglas County, right on the Umpqua. We got told stories of wild men in the woods, and that's why we had to always stay, first of all, on deer trails, and second of all, with the wolves.
Mhm.
Like, you never ever go out without the wolves, and when the wolves get spooked, your only job was to beat the wolves back home,
Yeah.
because they were the only ones that would be able to protect you.
Tell the people you had wolves.
I had wolves.
Yeah.
Caitlin grew up with
Yeah,
wolves.
because you just casually being like, that's why you had to bring your
I don't know,
wolves.
listen to any podcast I've ever been on.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Pacific
Hit the
Northwest.
chorus.
Chase.
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone!
Leave me alone.
Uh,
You don't know that!
Stay tuned for next episode. The ghoul of Grace Harbor.
It'll probably be better.
What? No, it'll be the exact same. Billy Ghoul, the ghoul of Grace Harbor. Next episode.
Ooh.